You to use your judgment and initiatives, and I trust that's what he did. But he was fully in the picture.
Right. But did he react when you told him you were going to go? If so, what was his reaction?
It's like I'm indifferent about it. It's okay.
And what was the response of the Abure faction when you came to make the case that you came to make?
They were elated. They are yearning for leadership. And I told them I'm there to do it. They are yearning for an end, so to say, about whatever we're going through as a party. But while I was there to reconcile.
Okay, yes. Greetings to you if you are joining me. Please help share this broadcast. I just really want to address this particular matter. For those who've been following, the political developments in Nigeria, particularly as it affects, politics around Peter Gregory Obi. I just don't want to mention a particular party, but in this case, Labour Party vis-a-vis DC, Peter Obi, and of course, one of the things that is currently trending. For those of you who may not know, last weekend, a fraction, I would say, of the Labour Party, touted to be the legitimate fraction currently, had a NEC meeting, well attended. Peter Obi was conspicuously absent, and certain resolutions were reached. And of course, a lot of people applauded. Because NEC attended a particular meeting, I also made a broadcast concerning that it looks like the Labour Party issues, are finally coming to an end. And I have also advocated personally that Peter Obi should run another Labour Party and leave this ADC, permanently, because from what some of us have observed, there is no truth in ADC. The desperation, of some of the leaders of the ADC, notably somebody like the Waziri, and many other characters there, and the kind of politics taking place there. We just thought that I have actually expressed that they are probably using Peter Obi to validate themselves. Now, what struck everybody that has been a talking point is that just days after, Abure, the fractional leader of Labour Party, who appears to be, a sinking boat, organized a NEC meeting just days after, the NEC meeting, organized by the current National Working Committee of NEC. And to the surprise of everybody, Baba-Ahmed Datti, attended that meeting. And of course, it's been a huge talking point. Lots of people have called him a traitor, that is betraying Peter Gregory Obi. He's been called all sorts of unsavory names and all of that. And some of us have been quietly trying to investigate what could be happening. And I'm just here to try to see how we can make sense of it all. But just before we go into Obi, because what's his name? Datti has now tried to clear the air even more by a recent interview which he had yesterday. And we are trying to put all of this together right now in a chronological form. So for those who may not be aware, this is the fallout of the meeting held by the National Working Committee, the first NEC meeting, attended by NEC, very well attended by every structure of the Labour Party, as currently exists. The governor of Governor Oti was there, all the elected members of Labour Party, they were there, from local government to different councils to state government, everybody was there, but let's just take a brief of that. Then we come back to the Abure-led, meeting. And of course, the statement issued by Obi Datti that is not, further, clear the air out. Because the issue had been, was Obi aware that Datti was going to be attending that meeting? If Obi was aware, what is the strategy behind that arrangement? I think I'm going to try to, give some clarity to some of these, just hopefully I am right. Let's take a listen to the first meeting of LP NEC.
At this National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja, the Labour Party moves to reset its leadership structure, citing the April 4th Supreme Court ruling, which it said nullified Julius Abure's tenure. The meeting, which aims at stabilizing the party, drew top figures including Governor Alex Otti, NLC President Joe Ajero, and representative of the Labour Party Board of Trustee Chairman. Reading the communique, Senator Darlington Nwankwocha reaffirms the party's commitment to internal democracy and restructuring.
The NEC reaffirmed its commitment to internal democracy, rule of law, and the supremacy of Labour Party constitution. It warned against any parallel structure or activities inconsistent with these resolutions.
Governor Otti insists on the interim leadership urging reconciliation and demanding formal apologies from factional leaders Julius Abure and Lamidi Apapa before any reintegration.
That they should be humble enough to respect the constitution of the party. And when their tenures were over, they should humbly step down and let the party run. Those were not my words, they were the words of the learned Supreme Court judges.
NLC President Joe Ajero and TUC's Festus Osifo, who was represented, dismissed claims of Labour Party collapse, maintaining it's the credible political alternative in 2027.
Restructure it, go into coalition, rebrand, whatever form, that's the mandate given to us for this party to work. So, and any other thing that is not drawn from this consensus, for us to all discuss here and agree on the next step to be taken, is not part of the NLC mandate. Despite a lot of distraction, despite a lot of...
Okay, just to put this in context, this particular meeting was very well attended by all structures of the Labour Party as currently exists. The NEC, TUC leadership, they were there. The current Labour Party, executive members, they were there. All of them. They now, of course, gave themselves a mandate to organize very quickly, in no distant time, to organize a national convention wherein they were elect, to ensure that they elect substantive leaders of the party, elect leaders across, all structures of the party, from local government to state government, from local levels to state levels, and all of that. Highly attended, very well attended. The only person who was not in this meeting, who's supposed to be a part of the structure of the Labour Party, was Abure, and of course his own, executive. You will recall that I think it was last year, Abure hurriedly organized, a convention where he elected himself, so to speak, and of course he's got his executive with him. So while the whole world around Labour Party, because a lot of people want peace to be in Labour Party, there's a lot of advocacy for Obi to return back to Labour Party and leave this ADC and all of that. And so to that extent, many Nigerians are interested in what happens in Labour Party right now, how peaceful and how united Labour Party is. Now, while everybody was, looking at what the outcome of this meeting is going to be, because as hugely touted, being that NEC was reported to have observed this meeting, it therefore means that hopefully in the coming days, weeks, as the case may be, NEC is supposed to remove Abure's name from, her portal as the recognized national chairman of the Labour Party. So that is expected now as a next step. Now, surprisingly, just a couple of days after, Abure quickly organized his own NEC meeting. Sadly, not sadly really, but the NEC meeting didn't look, to me, from my observation, I haven't seen all of the, all of the footages out there. It was just Abure, his executive members, and, most notably, the vice presidential, candidate for Labour Party, under Peter Obi, that's talking of, Ahmed Datti. He was present in that meeting organized by Abure. And that now threw everybody into some huge surprise. And of course, there's been a lot of talk around this. People have called him up sort of names, like I said earlier, betrayal, this and that and that and that. But I've been trying to understand what is playing out here. So let us take a little excerpt from the outcome of the meeting organized by Abure.
Without much ado, I want to proceed to the resolution adopted at the end of the meeting of the National Executive Council of our party. Resolution adopted at the end of the National Executive Council NEC of Labour Party, held on Monday, 21st July 2025 at the National Secretariat, Abuja. The NEC meeting was attended by members of the National Working Committee, national officers of the party, our own Senator Datti Datti Baba-Ahmed, Vice Presidential Candidate of the 2023 general election, state chairmen and secretaries of our party, stakeholders, and all other co-opted members of the National Executive Council. At the end of the meeting, the following resolutions were approved and adopted.
Okay, now this is quite some length, but conspicuously here, Abure, very notably recognized that the vice presidential candidate to Peter Obi was here. That's talking of Datti Ahmed, and of course, I have seen pictures and videos of the elaborate section and all of that, and I could tell that it didn't really particularly look like a proper NEC meeting. Now, that curiosity has been there. So shortly after Abure's address, Baba-Ahmed Datti also addressed the press. And this is what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
My co-travelers, my leaders, state chairmen, secretaries, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and the media force. Good afternoon to all of us. I am highly honored to be accorded the privilege of attending this important meeting. Labour Party is not a party to walk away from. The successes, the history that Labour Party of Nigeria has recorded is unique and unprecedented. We presented clear records and evidence of 10 million votes scored in the last election, thereafter reduced to 6.1 million votes. And for that, I still remain, Labour Party is not a party to walk away from. The act of state capture is a more onerous task than causing disunity and disaffection among and within political parties. After the tragedy of 2023, Nigeria was promised governance, yet we continued to experience unrelenting, underhand politics going on within the country, within the regions, between the regions, and within the parties. A lot of water, as they say, has passed under the bridge. I'm here as a loyal party member. I am here as a peacemaker, and I'm also here to reconcile divergent opinions. I'm very, very proud to say that I did attend meetings of a certain attempt for coalition in Nigeria. Morally speaking, if your neighborhood invites you to discuss the security, you must attend. However, if you attend and they discuss other matters besides that, you are at liberty to restore yourself to your former position.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, I don't want to use the word technicalities, but there are technicalities in here. He had attended the ADC meeting, which is in fact here that, when you are invited to a security meeting and you get there and they start discussing other things, you are at liberty to restore yourself. By certain statement he has made, he seemed to have lost faith in ADC, just like some of us have advocated. You understand what I'm saying now? And he has said he attended this meeting like a statesman to chase the dream of reconciling Labour Party. Okay? That's what he has said after this particular press briefing. Now, the question was, when he was doing this, was Peter Obi, his boss, aware that he was coming here? Peter Obi did not attend the meeting, the other meeting held by the other LP fraction. Datti did not attend that, but Datti is attending this. And so that has now, made tongues wag, and reasonably so, respectfully so, because, the Benin man says, if you travel with a good person and you discover what you were not expecting, there is no way you won't be surprised. So I'm sure that element of surprise has led many Nigerians to call Baba Datti names. But the question was still there. Was Obi aware that Datti was attending this meeting, or is there already some sort of fraction between, Obi Datti and what's his name, Peter Gregory Obi? As a matter of fact, because of Abure's recognition of Datti's attendance of this meeting, some newspapers have even reported that Abure jettisoning Obi and others endorses what's his name, Obi Datti, to be a LP candidate. And there've been so many reports, everywhere and all of that. But good enough, Obi Datti was live yesterday on air to try to clear this matter reasonably. And so while he was being interviewed on Arise TV, there's a brief that that I've picked out, that we want to look at. This is to respond to whether Peter B was aware of his attendance of this meeting. And the follow-up question to that will be, if Peter B is aware of Datti's attendance to this particular Abure's meeting, what is the undertone of this matter? What therefore is happening politically, with the Obi circle? You understand what I'm saying? Vis-a-vis Labour Party, as well as even the ADC that Obi, has publicly identified with. We may not have a direct, answer to these, but there are political calculations here that some of us can try to put one or two together to probably find out what is happening here. And the reason why this is important is because on the shoulders of Obi lie currently the collective hope of many, many Nigerians to secure, a better future for Nigeria from 2027, presidential election, which is, by the way, less than, if I'm not mistaken, less than 20 months, from now. So at the end of the day, a lot definitely, is happening. So let us take a listen to Baba Datti. Here he has established that he came here as a peacemaker. He has not said that he is taking side with any fraction. Okay? But now we want to know if Obi was aware that he actually came here. And they want to postulate what would have been the reason for his coming here. Things are getting quite interesting. Stay with me. Yes.
Easy
Obi Datti
and,
again.
you know, he leaves you to use your
Right.
judgment and initiatives. And I trust that's what he did. But he was fully in the picture.
Right. But did he react when you told him you were going to go? If so, what was his reaction?
It's like I'm indifferent about it. It's okay.
And what was the response of the Abure faction when you came to make the case that you came to make?
They were elated. They are yearning for leadership. And I told them I'm there to do it. They are yearning for an end, so to say, about whatever we're going through as a party. But while I was there to reconcile, I was also reconciling Labour Party and the general public by the same token. I was doing many things at the same time.
So in a sense, you were being, I mean, I'm wondering if you were being just politically pragmatic by your move, in the sense that some have suggested that the coalition may well end up anointing Atiku Abubakar as its candidate, and you and presumably Peter Obi don't want to be left in the lurch if that happens, which is why you're making these overtures to the Labour Party.
No. My own thinking was convince me why I should come into ADC. Where was ADC in 2023 when Labour Party claimed we got 10 million votes? Where was ADC?
Yeah, but there's always a time when a coalition comes into
That's
existence.
what I'm saying. The coalition pointed us at, like, convince me. And the general message is that I am yet to be convinced to leave Labour Party. I am yet to be convinced. And Peter Obi himself, I don't want to speak for him, but when he's okay, he will speak for himself. To the best that I know, Peter Obi is, and I repeated the welcome that Labour Party's arms are open to embrace back Peter Obi. I would like him to again win the nomination of Labour Party and contest in 2027 with or without me.
Okay. Now this is getting really,
coalition
really interesting, gentlemen. So, from what we've gathered here, Obi Datti firmly established that Peter Gregory Obi was aware that he was attending that particular meeting. Of course, the explanation he gave, okay, are explanations that you would expect from a politician. At some point, he said he's going to allow Peter Obi to speak for himself. He did a firmly establish. When he was going, Peter Obi was fully aware. He told Peter Obi. And Peter Obi's response normally would be, do what pleases you. He does not stand in the way, you know, of anybody and all of that. And of course, like he said, he's on a mission to reconcile Obi. I mean, to reconcile the Labour Party. And of course, you know, he felt that he would do everything to bring Obi back into the fold so that Obi can, you know, pursue the ambition of presidency from the Labour Party. And of course, he did also establish that he's not convinced about the ADC. And of course, even the interviewer said, well, there's speculation out there that the ADC is going to give the ticket to Atiku Abubakar and all of that. And this is what all of us have, you know, speculated. Somehow, you know, we can see the handwriting on the wall. Now, the fundamental question now is this, okay, which is not in the public space, but which by postulations that we can try to see to put together. Like I've said, there's a huge advocacy currently from everywhere. I hold that view. I have, you know, talked about it publicly, and I think that as soon as can be, as soon as possible, Obi should publicly declare that he is going to fly the flag of his presidential ambition under the Labour Party. But postulating and putting all of these things together, as we have tried to do, chronologically, I also do understand that Obi would not want to come into a divided Labour Party. One of the things that have plagued Labour Party so badly in recent years has been the division within the party. There are currently 3 fractions in Labour Party. There's the one led by Abure, the one led by Papa, and of course, the one right now that the TUC and the what's it called, Nigerian Labour Congress, NEC, they are taking side with. Okay, now from the way it is, it looks like the one of course embraced by TUC and LSC appear to be one. They will be the one right now that everybody's going to rally around. It also appears from the words of Datti and his move that they are currently trying to negotiate and find ways to ensure that they all come together as a united force. Because if the Labour Party is truly united without all of these issues of fractures here and there, they probably will have a better chance at doing something. Obi Datti, in the first video we played of him attending the Labour Party, Abure led the NEC meeting, did also infer that the issues with Labour Party is a case of the voice of Esau and the hand of Jacob, which meant that the presidency have a hand in the crisis within the Labour Party. Now, that we cannot independently verify, but if you want to look at the operational modus operandi of the current government, it may not be in doubt if that is happening. So therefore, what would be in the interest of many Nigerians, particularly those who support Peter Gregory Obi, would be, can there really be peace within the Labour Party? Is it possible to forge peace out? Because if Obi is sure that the Labour Party can become united, then he has a safe ground to fully. Though he has said publicly, he said this in a way some couple of weeks ago, that he is a member of the Labour Party, but he's also identified with ADC. Like I did argue, and this is very true, all the other gigantic, gladiators under the ADC, they've left their political parties. Atiku has resigned from PDP and fully now, with ADC. The only person big in that environment that has not left his political party is Peter Gregory Obi, who has identified with Labour Party, but he has not left Labour Party. Now, today, as things stand, if Labour Party organizes presidential, primaries, Obi cannot take part in it because the constitution clearly states that you cannot be a member of 2 political parties. You're either here or you are not here. So Obi currently is a member of Labour Party who has not resigned. So he cannot even run under the ADC right now. And of course, the suspicion over ADC and all of the things, everything, I am sure they are studying these things very, very closely. Now, do I take side with Obi Datti? This is a rhetorical question, okay? It does not really require an answer per se. But that said, I'm asking this question as somebody representing everybody who's interested in this matter. But a lot of people have come out to vilify Obi Datti. You understand what I'm saying now? But the thing I want to explain to Nigerians is that the level of politicking right now is a very huge one. And personally, I am interested in this matter in Obi again in 2027 because, having looked around, I can tell you of a fact that the only person that I believe very strongly that Nigerians can pitch tent with for the future of this country is still Peter Gregory Obi. Not because I believe he's a messiah, not at all, but because I believe very strongly that he will steer this country in a different direction. Every time you listen to Nigerian news, you get very angry over the way these people are trying to destroy the future of Nigerians. Many of you may not be aware, just within the last 48 hours, your own Senate has approved that Bola Ahmed Tinubu can go ahead and use the name of Nigeria to borrow $21 billion. Not a million, $21 billion as we speak. It is very likely in the coming months, Nigeria will borrow it again. And when they borrow, we know the way they use what they do. At the end of the day, it's at the expense of everything and everybody. And when they borrow, it increasingly looks like they borrow to just make themselves richer, not in the interest of you and I. 21 billion has just been approved, which means that when you calculate the national debt of Nigeria today, your children, when you never born, when you see this money when they owe is too much. So I believe that Obi is one person who will be prudent enough to steer this country away from this looming economic danger that is waiting to heavily confront Nigeria like a tsunami like we have never seen before. So all of this makes me interested in what happens to Peter Obi now and later. So Nigerians, I just thought I'd come out so that we can make some little sense out of this matter. And to encourage us, make we not vilify Obi Datti. If Obi is aware that Obi Datti went to that meeting, and Obi has explained, Datti has said that he is there to make reconciliation. If Datti is truly loyal to Obi, I believe that Datti will not have attended that meeting without the knowledge of Obi. And if he's attending, the strategy is probably to see how they can bring, like he said, all warring fractions together and bring everybody under the same umbrella of Labour Party, so that possibly, just maybe, in the coming weeks and months, there may be a united Labour Party that will be going into a national convention together to elect their substantive leadership. And when that happens, Obina has a good ground to come back and ply this future ambition under the Labour Party, knowing fully well that the lack of structure that was widely talked about in 2023 by politicians, they now understand that today, if Labour Party gets united today, nobody's going to talk about lack of structure anymore because they already know what it's been through. And I'm sure that with wise heads around the table, of discourse, the issue of structure will definitely be a foregone, conclusion before 2027. So Nigerians, now so the matter reach at this moment. My name is Ahmed Datti. We keep on following the matter very, very closely, and hopefully there will be, a resolution, in this matter, and Labour Party will become, united again, and will be hopefully would come back to the Labour Party, because for me, and of course for many people that have looked at these things and calculated it, there is no pathway for Obi under ADC. And if Obi leaves ADC and fully come back to Labour Party, believe me, ADC will lose steam. The steam that ADC has got today is because Obi is around. And their plan, I'm very sure, is to use Obi, like I've said before, to validate themselves. You understand? And later, they will push him out. Obi cannot afford to wait for that. He needs to come back to his own Labour Party, do whatever he needs to do to help build the Labour Party so that they can have a united house to confront 2027 presidential elections. It's very important, not just for Labour Party, not just for Peter Obi, not just for lovers of democracy, but for the future of the Nigerian state. On that note, I rest my case. I'll see you when I see you. God bless you all.